Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This video, I'm going to make a picture frame. Now my wife bought this sign and it came rolled up, and I've never seen a sign like it, but it's a vinyl sign, I think it is. But anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to make a picture frame for it. That way she can hang it up, it's all nice and pretty, and she's happy. If you're married, you understand that. But I got some walnut I want to make it out of. She wanted me to use it out of whatever and stain it walnut, and I was like, well, I'll use walnut. So I've got some here. This has been in the shop for a long time, but I'm gonna go ahead and use this to make it for her. So y'all stick around and we're gonna make a picture frame. Got to take this rough cut. I'm gonna go ahead and plane it down, get everything down to size, and then cut it. So y'all stick around.
I milled this lumber off camera, so therefore we're just going to get straight into it with the cutting. I cut these down to 2 inches wide. I think I made a good picture frame size.
Doing all the work and all the milling to these boards, now it's time to put the half lap on there. Now when you look at them, you want to decide which one looks the best, which one you want on the face and which one you want on the outside. That's a lie. Face and the back. It's early. Anyways, so you want to look, and I believe I want this side to be the face, so I'm going to cut my half laps on this side. So your longer ones be on the top and the bottom, and your shorter ones be on the side. So if you cut the half lap on the back of these, you're going to cut it on the front of your short ones. So you need to look at them and decide which one you're going to cut. That actually looks pretty good, so either way will work for that one. So we're going to cut these half laps.
After I got the half laps cut, it was time to assemble, and all I did there was glue in them half laps, and I used my 90-degree clamps to make sure I got the picture frame good and square, and I used little bar clamps for just pressure to help the glue dry. Once the glue was dry, I took it out of the clamps and got my trim router with a rabbit bit and went through and put a rabbit on the back for the actual picture frame or picture to set in, and the plywood backer to hold pressure on the picture frame. So therefore, it wasn't sticking out. It was all good in there. And once that was finished, I went through and got my punch router and made a keyhole slot. And this is what's going to hold the screw to actually mount the picture frame to the wall. Then I took my chisel and a mallet and scarred up those round corners to hold the picture and the plywood back.
Now that I got the frame done and the rabbet cut, the router only cuts circles. Like, you can't have a square bit. It don't work like that. So I took my chisel and I went through and I cut out the squares. And you'll notice at one point I picked up the hammer. That is a mistake. Don't ever do that. You can damage the router on both sides, or the chisel on both sides, and your piece if you hit it too hard with that. Mallet's a whole lot better. It's lighter. It's more forgiving. You'll notice this one's been beaten half to death, looks like. Hammer ain't gonna do that. So, but I only use the hammer for the hold fast. What I'm gonna do now is go through and I'm gonna sand it. Well, take it back first. We're gonna cut the back. It's plywood, so we're just gonna use table saw. And you'll notice also I went ahead, I found center. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I cut me a little keyhole. That's for the screw to hold it up. I use my plunge router for that, and it's just big and bulky, but it's the only thing I've got that do that job. I really wish they'd make a plunge option on a trim router where it's lighter. And as you can see, that's just a little bitty cut. I got a finger one side and finger on the other side. If you can't see it, you can get an idea of how big that cut is. But they don't, and if they do, I don't know about it. So I really wish I did. But that is a great tool to have if they do make it. And if they don't make it, I really wish they would. It's about like every other woodworker. You find a tool that they don't make and they need to. But what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna cut the plywood back, and then we're gonna sand this and put a finish on it. So inside I want finish I'm gonna put on it. But it's walnut. They all look good on walnut. Walnut's beautiful. I decided on this to just go with some feed and wax. It's a wood polish and conditioner made by Howard. I am not sponsored. I have no affiliation with these people, but I do enjoy the way this looks on wood, especially walnut. Walnut's such a beautiful wood. If you've never used it, I highly recommend it. You can get a hold of it, that's the thing. So we're gonna put this on here, and it says saturate your cloth, your rag, but I like doing it in small sections. And just work it into the wood. I don't know if you can see that, but it is absolutely beautiful, I think. Tight corners is kind of a pain, but that's with any kind of finish. You really got to work into them. I decided to do this back first, simply because when I do the front, I gotta have setting on something. So I'm gonna let this dry. Once I get the back done, I'm gonna let it dry for a little bit, and I'm gonna flip it and do the other side. And the plywood I cut for the back of this frame, I'm not gonna put nothing on it because, well, it's plywood and it's the back of a picture frame. You look at all of them, ain't none of them ever had no kind of back or anything, no kind of finish on them. So we're just gonna leave it bare. You know, this is picture frame is probably one of the easiest things that you can make, especially as a beginner. You don't have to have a dado stack. I just happen to have a dado stack. You don't have to have big router with a plunge router with, so you can cut a keyhole. You can actually screw just little hooks to it. I mean, it's not, you don't have to have all these big fancy tools. And I don't have big fancy tools really, now that I think about it. I got what I would consider beginner tools with some maybe advanced beginner tools added in. But there's a lot of people out there makes these same projects with beginner to almost novice tools. Is novice tools even a thing? I don't know. But people will pay for, my next town over, so this is what made me think of picture frame. There is actually a picture frame shop. It looks like, you know, it's in somebody's backyard, hobby thing or whatever, but it's that. That's what made me think about actually filming this, because people actually does this. Ooh, I might have overdone it that time. But you don't have to, you know, if you can get a hold of some hardwood like walnut, like I was very fortunate enough to do, and people will pay. People will pay for a custom, one-of-a-kind picture frame, something that's not mass produced. And I think that's a lot of the reason why woodworkers are and I ain't gonna say high demand, but reason we are doing good. Some of us, I don't know, but it's because of mass produced furniture, mass produced crafts, mass produced. People don't want it. People want authentic, one of a kind, handmade type furniture, handmade type crafts, and that's what they're getting when they come to something like this. So, well, slide that on top for the next one. So, people will pay for this. People will pay for all kinds of different fish. I don't know why I clap my hands, don't ask. Custom, one of a kind. Your customer sometimes will come to you, sometimes they'll see it at a craft show. If you're lucky enough to have your products in like a store or something, they will come say it and hey, I want that. Business cards, if you don't have them, print them out. Get you some. Don't ask me why I said print them out. But for this, I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna do the other side, and then we got little hooks to help hold the back and the actual picture itself in. I'm sure you've seen them. Just look on the back of any picture frame, just about. And we're gonna hang it up. Hopefully, I'll let this dry for a few hours and flip it, and I'll do the other side, and then probably tomorrow I'll hang it up for my wife. But y'all have a good one. If you like this video, if you like, you know, questions, comments, you like hearing me rant about everything I rant about, go ahead, give me a like, subscribe. I really appreciate it.